Jesus chose 3 of his closest disciples, Peter, James, and John, to accompany him on a journey unlike any.
Peter, James, John, come with me.
Yes, Lord. Leaving the others behind, Jesus led Peter, James, and John toward a high mountain where the glory of God would soon be revealed. Jesus led Peter, James, and John away from the others, guiding them up the rugged mountain.
Lord, is the summit much farther? Keep walking. The mountain is beautiful. Stay close.
With every step, they drew farther from the world below and nearer to the place where God's glory would soon be revealed. The climb grew steeper as Jesus led Peter, James, and John higher up the mountain, away from the crowd.
Lord, I think this place is okay. Come. What a beautiful place.
They drew nearer to the summit, unaware that they were about to witness one of the greatest revelations of Jesus' glory. When the disciples awoke, they saw Jesus standing before them in radiant.
Lord, what has happened? Look at him.
His face shone like the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. The disciples stood in awe, witnessing a glimpse of the glory that belonged to Jesus. And suddenly, another presence appeared beside Jesus, emerging from the heavenly light. It was Moses, the servant of God who had lived many generations before them.
Jesus, God has brought us together. Welcome, Moses.
Hardly understand what they were seeing. Jesus in glory, standing with Moses on the mountain. And then another figure appeared, emerging from the heavenly light. It was Elijah, the great prophet of God.
Master, we have come to speak with you. Then let us speak
in glory, with Moses and Elijah beside him, speaking together on the mountain.
My hour is drawing near. You have to fulfill the purpose of God. I must go to Jerusalem and do what the Father has given you to do. You know the suffering that awaits you. I know.
They spoke of the death he would accomplish at Jerusalem, yet Jesus stood with perfect peace. Peter was overwhelmed by what he saw, and in his excitement, he wanted the moment to remain.
Lord, what are we seeing? If you wish, we can make 3 tabernacles, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah.
Peter spoke without fully understanding what he was saying, wanting to honor all 3 before him. While Peter was still speaking, a bright cloud began to descend upon the mountain. The cloud grew brighter and came down over them, filling the mountaintop with the presence of God. The bright cloud overshadowed them, and the disciples stood surrounded by the glory of God's presence. And as the cloud overshadowed them, they knew they were standing in the presence of God. As the cloud came closer, the disciples realized that they were entering into something far beyond what they understood.
What is happening? I don't know.
The disciples were afraid as they entered the cloud, for they knew they were in the presence of the Almighty. They were filled with fear as the glory of God surrounded them,
"This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him."
The disciples heard the voice of God and were overcome with awe and fear. When the voice had spoken, the cloud began to lift from the mountain. The disciples were filled with fear, and they could no longer stand before the glory they had witnessed. And when the disciples heard the voice, they fell upon their faces and were sore afraid. The mountain became quiet, and the disciples lay trembling before the presence of God. But Jesus did not leave them in their fear. He came near to them. With compassion, Jesus came to them and reached out his hand.
"Arise, and be not afraid."
At the touch of Jesus, their fear began to give way to peace. When they lifted up their eyes, they looked again toward the glorious figures before them. But Moses and Elijah were no longer there. And when they looked around, they saw no one except Jesus. They saw Jesus only, and for that moment, he was all they needed to see. After the vision had ended, Jesus and the 3 disciples began their journey down the mountain. They followed Jesus along the winding path, leaving the mountaintop behind. The glory they had witnessed remained fresh in their minds as they continued down the mountain. And together, they continued down the mountain, carrying with them what they had seen. And as they came down the mountain, Jesus stopped and gave his disciples an important instruction.
"Tell no man what you have seen
Until the Son of Man be risen from the dead. Tell no one what you have seen here today.